Just curious your thoughts on that. Do you agree with this Trump rally right now unfolding in one of the hottest states in the country for coronavirus? Oklahoma leading that charge for coronavirus cases, up 91% right now. Now, the president was asked, the other night on a new show, a new sort of Trump network that's sort of unfolding, about if he loses, or if he wins, would he be able to work with Democrats, and what would this country look like?
Which is your favorite Trump child, and why is it Ivanka?
The wise guy over here. All the same, 100%.
100%?
100%. And I'll even say you only for purposes of this interview. But other than that, all the same.
Okay, well, I'm going to remember that, okay? So that's...
Now, there's sort of a new Trump TV channel that's emerging. And I want to talk about the context of this for a moment. Because, look, I used to work at Fox News Channel, right? I was an anchor on Fox and Friends. Interestingly, before the election, there was a lot of buzz. I think we've seen this now reported multiple times, that even among his staff, that there was no real thought that he was going to win the election. That they were preparing, in fact, the president, or now president, had called upon his jet to be fueled up so he could leave America on the next morning after election night, after he loses to Hillary Clinton. He was going to fly to Scotland. That didn't end up happening. He won. And in a big way, right? But there was a lot of talk in the weeks and months ahead of time, and there was courting happening among Fox News employees and anchors to possibly come work for a new Trump television network that was being talked about. And you could hear it all being talked about in the halls of the television. And not just at Fox. This was also occurring at CNN and other places, because when you're going to start a new television network, you need producers, you need directors, you need technical directors, you need camera people, you need all of those things, right? You need interns and everything. And so there was talk that Trump wanted to sort of create his own television network. And that didn't materialize then. But there were people being courted. There was questions as to whether or not Sean Hannity would leave and go there. There were other people being courted and questioned if they would go into this quote-unquote Trump television network. And it perfectly fits with what he would want to do. So if he were to lose this election, that's exactly, in my opinion, what he would do. He would be heading up his own sort of Trump television network. Does anyone here disagree with that? Anyone watching right now disagree with that? Because I'm going to tell you, you're wrong. Trump's a media guy. He's had television show after television show, and there was very, very deep words about this floating through the halls of Fox and others, that there was going to be a Trump television network. And in many ways, I feel like that OANN network is maybe what emerged as a result of that, and why maybe he's so supportive of that, I'm not quite sure. But now we're seeing the first shades of its own Trump television network emerging. And last night, did you catch this? This was President Trump and Don Jr. doing a Father's Day special on their very own network. And they sat down with a back and forth interview, and it was, look at all the camera crew, everything set up so that they could do this back and forth interview from the White House. They didn't need it to be CNN. They didn't need it to be the mainstream media. They didn't need it to be any of this. So it's brilliant, because now they got to do this interview on this show called Triggered with Don Jr. See, that's what a beard would look like if I don't know if I want to do that. I don't think it looks so hot. Anyway, so they have their own network, Trump Team Online, as you can see there behind our Morning Invest logo, where they get to do this interview. You can text in and get, contribute to the Trump campaign, etc. But this is the beginnings, folks, of a potential Trump television network, regardless of what happens. Now, if he wins the election, then he continues on and does what he's doing. If he doesn't, they're laying the foundation and groundwork now. Anybody who tunes in, they're able to sort of track that. This is a great way for them to raise money. But, I find it endlessly fascinating. I find this endlessly fascinating because you're starting to see the early signs of it right now. Okay, it's June. We're starting to see the sort of Trump online network emerging. They don't need CNN. They don't need anything else like that. They don't need MSNBC. They don't need Fox. They can do their own thing. Honestly, kind of like what we're doing here. So if I guarantee you, dollars to donuts, if President Trump loses this election in the fall, this is exactly what he'll be doing, creating his own network, inviting the likes of Sean Hannity to join it. I can't imagine. Look, Bill O'Reilly just came back out of retirement and now joined that OAN network. You're going to start to see this unfolding. Just keep your eye on this, okay? I'm just telling you, you heard it here first. So, one thing emerged last night was a question about could he work with Democrats going forward, and what would this look like? How will this country look over the next year? Don Jr. asked him this question. Here was President Trump's response. I want to play it, and I want to get your take on it, and I want to talk about my thoughts on it. Take a listen.
With you on things.
So I think if we win, the answer is yes, but I think regardless, we're going to have a tremendously successful country. I think that our country is going to be stronger than ever before. I think that next year is going to be a tremendous success. I feel that if the Democrats get in, we are literally going to end up in a recession/depression, the likes of which you've never seen. There will be tremendous negative growth. There will be tremendous bedlam all over the place. There won't be law and order. You'll have a Seattle. You'll have a Minneapolis like you've never seen before. The whole country will be Minneapolis.
Grover doesn't agree with that. Grover, what do you think of that? Yeah, give me one ear shake if you agree, or two if you disagree. Okay, well, neither. He's just tuned out. So there was President Trump talking to Don Jr. Now, listen to his words there. He's saying, if Democrats win, now here on the show I'm an equal opportunity offender. So when a Democrat says something stupid, I'll go after him. When a Republican says something stupid, I'll go after him. I don't care. I don't have this ideological loyalty where I'm blinded by that. Facts speak for themselves. And right now, he said, if the Democrats get in, we'll be in a recession/depression. Hello. Where are we right now? He said, if Democrats get in, it'll be like Minneapolis. Almost forgetting the fact that Minneapolis happened on his watch. A recession/depression is happening on his watch. What I can't stand is when you run the Supreme Court, you have a conservative Supreme Court, you run the Senate, okay? You have the White House. And you want to tell us that if Democrats win in the fall, that we're going to head into a recession/depression. Further, we're going to see cities erupting like Minneapolis, which happened on your watch. And Seattle happened on your watch. How can you pass the buck like that? I don't agree with that at all. There were questions about whether or not he would leave peacefully the White House if he loses, which a lot of people were worried he wouldn't, and he says, yes, I will. I think he'd be out of there and he'd be happy. I think most presidents, when they get out of there, are just a relief, right? I think he'd be happy, I'm done, and I'd go build my own Trump online television network. Yeah, I saw someone in the comments say Glenn Beck might come back. I mean, who knows, right? I think he'd pick people from all these different networks and offer them big salaries and plunk them there if he could. Absolutely. I think he wishes he could take ownership of the OAN network, right, and do that. He's a media guy. He loves it. And I think it would be hugely successful if he did it. He could really, he on that side would drive the conversation in a way that we've never seen before. Imagine candidates going on there for interviews. Imagine him interviewing potential future presidential candidates. He would almost become like a kingmaker of sorts. You have to go on this show, you have to go on the Trump show to be interviewed before you can even think about throwing your hat into the ring. I can see it now. I can see it. How many of you disagree with me? Let me know. Grover, what do you think? Do you agree? Yeah, he agrees with me. He agrees. So President Trump there on his Trump TV and saying that he could work with Democrats, but he thinks if Democrats win, the country will slip into disaster. Okay,